As models grow increasingly large, they become inaccessible to researchers and small-scale developers, and the recent release of LLaMA 70B highlights this trend even further. Running the largest version of LLaMA 2 model requires an extremely high-end GPU, which can cost around $10,000 or around $7 per hour if rented in the cloud. This price is simply unreasonable for most people, as just a few hours of usage of such system can cost as much as a ChatGPT Plus subscription for a whole month. This is where Petals comes into play. Petals offers a collaborative approach to democratize AI research by using a distributed system instead of a single high-end GPU. This makes AI advancements accessible to a broader spectrum of enthusiasts and professionals, not just those with very deep pockets. So in this video I will explain exactly how Petals does it and show you how to run the biggest and the most performant available open source model directly on your grandma's ancient dusty PC. Let's get started. First, let me briefly explain how Petals works and what exactly it does to reduce the GPU memory consumption from over 60 GB to just 2. Just like Torrent revolutionized the way we download files by splitting them into chunks across multiple devices, Petals fragments the model and distributes its computational needs across multiple, perhaps less powerful machines. However, behind this simple analogy, Petals employs a rather sophisticated architecture. Not only it splits the model into chunks, but it also assigns them to devices based on how much they can handle. A powerful workstation will handle a bigger fragment, while an older laptop gets a smaller piece. What's more, in Petals, peers who use the client are not required to run a server. This means that users can utilize Petals for their own inference or fine-tuning needs without contributing their own computational resources. In the future, Petals plans to introduce an incentive system where peers who offer resources can earn points, which can then be used for high-priority inference, fine-tuning or other rewards. Regarding security and data privacy concerns, if you are working with sensitive data, it is important not to use the public swarm. Swarm is essentially a network of machines, each hosting a part of the model to make predictions together. This is important because it is technically possible for peers serving model layers to recover input data and model outputs, or maliciously modify them. Instead, you can set up a private swarm hosted by people and organizations you trust. Overall, with Petals, anyone, from enthusiasts and researchers to developers with limited resources, can be a part of the AI revolution. So now, let me guide you on how you can join this transformative journey. In this exercise, we will use Petals to run the largest and the most performant open source language model on a single consumer GPU. To run LLaMA V2, you first have to apply for access on Hugging Face. Personally, I was approved in just a few hours, but it might take anywhere from 1 to 2 days. I will be using Google Colab for this demo. To run it locally, simply create a Conda environment beforehand. I will leave all the commands in a notebook. The first cell in this notebook simply copies the Petals chat repo and installs the dependencies. Next, you need to insert your Hugging Face token and run the following cell. Then, you need to modify the config file inside the chat Petals ML directory. To use LLaMA 70B chat, simply comment out all the other models and set the default model name accordingly. If you are also using GPU instance, set the device to CUDA. Running this model with Petals requires only 1 to 2 GB of GPU memory compared to over 60 GB required to run the full model. Now, save the config file and run the next command that starts a server. Open the new NoHub file to check the logs. Once your server is running, you will see a server URL at the bottom of this file. If you are running this notebook locally, you can simply paste this URL in a browser and already run the model. However, if you're running from Colab, an additional step is required, which is port forwarding. All you have to do is create an account on ngrok, copy your auth token, insert it in the cell below and hit run. You will see the URL in the output of this cell. Open this URL and now you can finally chat with your own LLaMA V2 using the interface provided by Petals. I find that it is pretty good at writing tasks, maybe even better than ChatGPT. However, it lacks some performance in generating code. In conclusion, running and training models in a distributed fashion presents a huge opportunity for the entire open source community. As I explained in one of my previous videos, it seems like GPT-4 is in fact a mixture model, which makes Petals more relevant than ever before. Since mixture models are just combinations of multiple smaller models combined, splitting them between different nodes can be much easier and can significantly increase stability during the training process. Just imagine if the entire Hugging Face community came together to train a mixture of experts LLaMA V2 model. This model could potentially reach the performance of GPT-4 and lead to a significant shift of power in the AI race. And the best part is that it wouldn't require significant computational resources from any of the participants. A couple of thousand people could potentially accomplish this in a matter of days from their old consumer PCs. However, keep in mind that this is just my wild guess, and it's likely that more breakthroughs need to occur before this becomes a reality. So let me know in the comments if you would like another tutorial on how to fine-tune LLaMA V2 with Petals on your local PC. And if you don't want to miss out on future developments like this, don't forget to subscribe.